Larry, Fort Worth Memories Museum and Groups, and YouTube at Fort Worth Memories. Let me see if we're live on YouTube. Yep, we are. Tell everybody good morning. And we're going to share it to the internet. Memories, videos, and messages. Okay. It's going to be another hot one. I think it's going to get up to something in the 90s. Let me see if that's the camera we're wanting. Can't believe these cameras are still working. That one's frozen. That's the front door. So, is this the camera we're working off of? Yeah. And that one's the front door. Okay, here we go. Terry's in. During these summer days, the show will start between 6 and 6:30 because we start washing right after that. It's too hot to be out there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We try to get done by noon. Marquita's in. Marilyn is in. Well, of course, there's always a lot of stuff going on nationally. Trump and them, they do something big every day. I mean, every day. So I'm going to look at Newsbreak and see what that has to allow. Let me try to move this thing. I need a bigger desk. We need a bigger office is what we need. Okay, Newsbreak. Arrest made after unidentified dead baby found in East Fort Worth dumpster. You gotta be kidding me. At the La Hacienda Apartments, 4700 block of Norma Street. Who did they arrest? I cannot believe a mother. I cannot believe that. I don't know how the baby died, but then put the baby in a dumpster. She should never be able to get out of jail. Ever. It's ridiculous. Fort Worth favorite sports bar. Come enjoy delicious food. Who is that? No Frills Grill. That's an ad. The neighbors on East Berry say that it's a hazard just driving down East Berry over there. The DNC picked up the tab for more than $20 million of Kamala Harris's campaign in debt. She needs to retire to her home. She's no politician. She's not a leader anyway. So the Fort Worth House of Refuge Sanctuary, is this the... What is that? Let me see. Well, it doesn't have... Oh, see the full story. Oh, that's not the nature center. Developers in 5 Texas cities want $10 billion for downtown. Which downtown? Fort Worth? No, San Antonio. San Antonio's growing like a weed. No, there's no local news that I can find. Next Thursday, I think the Cowboys venture to Philadelphia. That'll be a disaster. It might not. We'll do this. We'll do the game. Let's see what anybody has to say. I'm getting closer on a date for the boxing in Cowtown event. It's going to be in either late September or 1st of October. Hold on, I'm just about there. Okay. Tarrant County District Attorney plea and sentence. I like that deal. Phil Sorrells is putting these things on there when people get sentenced or convicted, because I'm trying to share them. Fort Worth Home and Garden Show is September the 5th at Will Rogers. Free admission. We can share that. I've never been to one of those home and garden shows. Oh, it doesn't let me share it to... It shares it to my live feed, I guess. I mean, Larry O'Neill instead of... let me see. I don't know where it shares it to. I'll find it later. Let's see who's in here. Marquita, Marilyn, Brittany, George, Carolyn, Marquita, the usual crew. Good morning to all y'all. Fort Worth Police Department. I'll share a bunch of this other stuff. Oh, they're hiring. So, if you're young and adventurous and Want a lifelong commitment to helping people. Fort Worth Police are hiring. That's men and women. The pay's not bad. I mean, of course, you risk getting shot, but, you know, I kind of think we all risk getting shot. Jimmy's in. Victor's in. Georgia Cartwright is the new trail boss of the Fort Worth herd. We'll share that. We'll see if we can't get her in. Chris Nettles, what'd he do? I will share that. Sure, there's a lot of sports bars popping up. Okay, well, not much on that either. Getting a text message. I don't know who this is. This isn't Cleburne or Burleson. Larry, I'm a new member. I'm from Littlefield, Texas. Do you know where that is? Yeah, I know where it is. It's also the home of Mr. Waylon Jennings, the original outlaw of country music. Yeah, thumbs up. Michael. I just joined the group Sunday. I love it. I'm going to come see the museum. Good. I don't know how far Littlefield, Texas is from here, but I dang sure know Waylon Jennings is from there. Born there in 1937. Passed away in 2002. Yes. I do know about Littlefield, Texas. Did you know that Waylon at two different times of his life was a disc jockey there in Lubbock, Texas? I do believe if Waylon would have met and married Jessie Coulter before he got married to the other three, it would have been a different story. She allowed him to still continue drugs, and I mean, you couldn't tell Waylon Jennings anything. But she was good for Waylon. You know what made Waylon stop? I heard this story. I heard it on an interview they did with him. Shooter was 5 or 6 years old, and Waylon was sitting on the couch, and they were playing, messing around, whatever. Shooter's Waylon's last child. And he had that child. The mother was Jessie Coulter. And either Shooter asked him to stop or something, some affectionate deal, and Waylon walked in the next room and told Jessie, he said, "I'm done. No more drugs." And that guy, I saw reports he was spending $30,000 a week on cocaine. He went broke 2 or 3 times. But anyway, welcome aboard, Littlefield, Texas. We always like new members and where you're from, but I don't know any other famous person from there. When I come to the museum, I'll tell you. Okay, thank you. We got another. Okay, Brittany, this is Cleburne. I guess they're starting today. Was Jesse and Frank James ever in Hell's Half Acre or Fort Worth? Yeah. There was some woman that had a cooked chili out of her house and sold it back in the 1800s. And Jesse and Frank, when they were within 100 or 200 miles of Fort Worth, they would ride just to eat her chili. And they swore to her that they would never rob or do anything in Fort Worth to draw attention to them. But Cleburne, I'll tell you a story I bet you didn't know. Sam Rosen Heights, he was a big developer. He developed a part of Fort Worth that was North Fort Worth that was Rosen Heights. And he built an amusement park and a stage. They had a theater, the whole deal. And it was called White City, W-H-I-T-E. And there was no reference to black and white. It was just what he called it. White City. He lobbied for the city council to extend the trolley line out to his new development so people could come out there and pick out a house or a lot and live in the area. Cleburne's currently at 3. Here's a part of Jesse and Frank. So, at the end of the trail, after the famous Northfield raid, where 2 or 3 of the youngers were either shot or in prison, Cole was one of them. When he got out of prison, he teamed up with Frank James, Jesse's brother, and for 2 years they had a Wild West show. Everybody knows about Bill Cody. Bill Cody came to the rodeo here in Fort Worth 2 or 3 different occasions. Wild Bill Hickok toured with him for a while. What happened to Rosie? Nothing. So Cole Younger got out of prison. He did 20 years, I think. He lived in Irving. He dealt Pharaoh over here at Hell's Half Acre. But him and Frank James started, it was the younger brothers Wild West show. And they performed on 2 different occasions at White City for Sam Rosen. In fact, I've got it. You can Google, or you can go on Memories, and in the spyglass, you can put, I guess you can put the younger. Hold on, I'm seeing if it's in there. I think it's in there. Rosen Heights, White City. Free concert, 3 p.m. Free balloon, a session, 4 p.m. Younger's Wild West Show. And then there's an article. Penny Arcade, glass blowers, Ferris wheel, Japanese polo, now in operation. Free gate, Rosen Heights. And there's a and it tells about Frank James and Cole Younger. The other Younger brothers, one of them committed suicide, I think. But Cole dealt faro at the Stag Saloon in Hell's Half Acre. Let me see if I can't find that article. The Northfield raid was in 1876. That's the same year the train came to Fort Worth. They killed Jim Younger, committed suicide after his release from prison. Jesse James was killed. Yeah, they were in town. What had happened, they were going to rob the bank in Northfield. And back in those days, the banks, there was no federally deposited insurance. If you were in a little town and you had your money in the bank and somebody robbed it, guess what? You lost it. So most all of these little towns and some bigger towns, citizenry back in those days, 1800s, they either had a shotgun close or a revolver. And that's what happened to that raid. They were in the bank trying to get them to open the safe, and the guy was really, he took his life in his own hands. He said, it's on a time lock. It was not set. All they had to do was open the door. They left with nothing and got several of them killed. The only two that actually escaped was Frank and Jesse James, and then they caught them shortly, or 2 or 3 days later. But the Youngers, there was 5 of them. One of them didn't go on the raid, 2 of them died, and 1 committed suicide. Then Cole spent almost 20 years in prison. Then he came to Hell's Half Acre and he rode by carriage over here from Irving. God, that would have been I bet it took him. What he'd do is he'd ride over on Thursday daytime, and at the Stag Saloon, they had some rooms there also. He would stay there in a room, rent a room, and then he would leave on Sunday to go back to Irving. But he and Frank James did this tour, this Wild West show. It wasn't as good as Wild Bill Cody, and it only lasted a couple of years. They didn't get enough money. But they were in north side of Fort Worth. Sam Rosen let him live in one of his houses that he was trying to sell. So, yeah. And Brittany, don't charge him. Cleburne, y'all are at 3. I'm not going to charge you for that. But the story about Frank and Jesse James coming to Fort Worth to the Hell's Half Acre area for that lady's chili, that was true. It's just I've never been able to verify it with a newspaper account, but it was handed down on several different diaries that I have, that I bought over the years. So yeah. Let me open this door because we're fixing to get started here. I'm going to have to wrap it up and get that other side opened up and ready to go here in a minute. Did the Rangers play last night? The Texas Rangers. Baseball. No, they got beat 4-0. How many games out of to be in the playoffs for the Texas Rangers? Because they don't have many games left. Texas Rangers are currently 5.5 games out of the final AL wildcard spot. They're not going to get there. Current record is 63 wins and 66 losses. That's 69. They don't have very many games left. They've lost 11 out of their last 14 games. So much for the Texas Rangers. But it's still fun to go watch them. I'm sure they hadn't finished up their home deal. What is the big deal about this Cracker Barrel thing? I don't have a clue. I hadn't even looked at it. Really don't want to. Well, the Home and Garden Show did post. Daniel Cody is watching. Greg and Don. Brittany, Marilyn. Okay, I'm going to go open up this other side because it is 6:46. Trying to think. I don't know where we're going to eat yet. We'll figure it out. I'll think about it while we're working. Tom Reynolds is in. Good morning. So today is Tuesday, August 26th. Anybody got anything they need to discuss? It's going to start cooling down. It's not going to be as hot as it's been. I'll try to figure out someplace new that we haven't eaten before. I wonder how much money that Burger Week, I wonder if they've got a number on that. How much money did Burger Week raise for the Tarrant Area Food Bank? It's not available. It says they'll have a press release. I guess Tarrant Area Food Banks, I guess Burger Week is an actual company or something now. That deal at Fred's was sure good. Dang sure worth $7. Hold on, let me see if I can find that. It says Yeah, I guess Burger Week is a freestanding company, I guess. Because I can't find anything on any of their sites. Let me try one more place. The boxing event will be either the last week of September or the first week of October. But the first weekend in October, the first Saturday, we have the Chicken and Bread Festival in Bowie. I speak there every year, or have. They haven't invited me yet, but I would imagine I've spoken there several times. That's the first Saturday in October, so it'll probably be the second Saturday if I do it in October. Okay, boys and girls, gotta go. Oh, wait a minute, we gotta run the sponsors. Melinda Hicks comes to mind. She has the patch. That's a life-changing innovation. Her website is running up and down the groups. Let me see something here. David Hart is our painting contractor, and he's been that several different occasions. Termite King Pest Control, Royal Flush Plumbing, Royal Flush Plumbing. Come on, Internet. There's Melinda Hicks' deal right now. It's on Memories. It just popped up. She came and did an interview and explained all of that to our group. Rockwood Go-Kart and Mini Golf. Boom Bond, that's capital B-O-M, capital B-O-N, Mark Perez. Rex's Bar and Grill. It's on University. Also, Old South Pancake Houses. They're all owned by Rex Benson. Old South on University is open 24/7. The one in Burleson opens early and stays late. Cross Electric, Brandon Cross, residential and commercial. Eric Walsh, real estate developer. He's also on the board of Larry's Kids. Feltz Family Auto Care, Burleson area. They got a great reputation. They draw a lot of people from Fort Worth too. Stroud Auto Supply is in the Haltom City Riverside area. You don't very rarely see an independent auto supply store go head to head with O'Reilly's and the national chains. AutoZone. Varghese Somerset is our legal sponsors. They do everything from any kind of, if you need a lawyer, they can do it. Capital murder all the way down to writing a will. Fort Worth Florist, Jeanette and her team has sent flowers all over the planet for us. K Ranch Roofing, Jorge Hernandez. He's been with us now 2 or 3 years. If you even think you might have roof damage, call K Ranch Roofing. They'll send somebody out and inspect your roof at no charge. and then you'll either know if you do or if you don't. Fort Worth Lumber down on I-35 South. It's a large complex. Building materials, building plans. You want to go down there and just put some ideas with somebody that's knowledgeable about building, that's the place to go. Optimist Club of Fort Worth. Thank you. Optimist Club of Fort Worth is an international organization. They do lots of great stuff for youth, both boys and girls. Winstead Paint and Body, Clay Winstead. I've been doing business with Winstead 40 years. Way before Clay owned it. They're on White Settlement Road, 1 block west of Roberts Cutoff. Steve Coburn, Coburn's Catering, 3rd generation caterers. They've been in business since 1946. And Steve might have a new product coming out. I was just over at his office the other day, but I'll let him explain it when it happens. A-Bird AC and Heating, that's Dub Peacock's company. If you have not had your central air and heat unit checked to see if it's still in good working order, it's worth $95 to have an expert to come out there and look at it. So do some preventative maintenance. State Farm Insurance, Jenny Stewart. The way I look at these insurance, State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, they're all very good companies. It's which one can provide the best coverage at the least amount of money. So it costs you absolutely nothing to call Jenny Stewart's State Farm Insurance and find out what they'll charge you. Swartz and Hanson are our architectural sponsors, very active in the bicycle giveaway. And Winstead Paint and Body, Fort Worth Lumber, all of these people are very active in the bicycle giveaway. And Tom Reynolds and his wife brought 2 bikes by here last Saturday. I'm sitting here looking at them, 124 and 126. That's what we need, the 24s and 26s. Pat and Richard Carr, Dickey Carr Sand and Gravel. If you're in the building business and you need a bunch of sand, several dump trucks full, Dickey Carr Sand and Gravel. Grateful for Your Trees, that's Dickey Carr, Richard Carr's nephew. These fellas do everything to do with trees. Cut them down, trim them, grind the stumps down. They do demolition work, retaining walls, sell firewood. They do it all. Grateful for Your Trees. Stinger Sports Bar in the old Mark Dean's Barbecue building. Exit 199, Hazel, Stewart, Maine, and that's where they are. We need a mechanic in Fort Worth. We need a flooring company. We need a dentist. Y'all know somebody, tell them to get a hold of me. Okay, gotta go. Poor people gotta work every day.